Hi guys, welcome to WeLoveBetting. I'm Jim Knight, back for another season of Team Goal Tips. We're going to start with a couple of tentative selections this week. I wouldn't advise big stakes on these because it is the beginning of the season. You like to normally get an idea of how teams are going to play, how they're going to set up and how the new signings are settling in. But there are a couple of prices that I feel are being a bit overpriced by the bookmakers and they've got plenty of value in terms of backing them kind of blind almost on the basis of summer transfer business and how some teams have been getting on in pre-season. So we've got the first selection, which is Portsmouth. They will face Exeter this weekend, and Portsmouth are a team that I'm quite interested in League Two this year. They're about twice the price, I think, this year as they were last year. They went off very short anti-post favourites last year and maybe burned a few people with league winner accumulators who thought they were a kind of sure thing to win League Two based on the size of the club and the number of fans and the budget that they would have for players, etc. But that proved not to be the case. This year, I think they've got a much better claim to League Two. They're around 8-1, so they are in the top 3 or 4 in the betting. They've enhanced their squad significantly. Particularly, I like the signing of Craig Westcar from Walsall, who got 14 goals for them last year. He's dropped down a division, so he should be able to plunder plenty of goals this year. I think if you add that to the attacking threat of David Connolly and Patrick Abumang as well, the quality they've got in behind, they've improved all areas of the squad over the summer. So they've got plenty of ability in that squad and they should sort of score plenty of goals as well. Mark O'Hare mentioned the issue with home form last year in their previous season. It was almost like the weight of expectation of the thousands of fans at Fratton Park was weighing against them. This year they start the campaign away at Exeter. Exeter are a club that have had real problems over the summer financially. They have got a transfer embargo on them, so they can't sign any new players. They've had to apply for a temporary loan from the PFA as well, which is always a sign of a club that aren't in a particularly good place financially. They haven't been well for a couple of years financially, Exeter, but this year I think is the one where it could tell. Finished 17th last year. And I think this year could be the year where they really struggle at the bottom, particularly if these financial implications go on. They haven't got any new players to play with this year. Portsmouth are a side that should come in brimming full of confidence. They had a 5-win, 2-draw end to the season, so 7 games unbeaten coming into this new campaign. They should start afresh with renewed kind of vigour based on those new signings as well, and they'll get plenty of support wherever they go. They are 11-8 to score twice or more, Portsmouth, against Exeter this week, and I just feel that's a price that's a little bit too big. I'd fancy them to get on the scoreboard a couple of times with the new players that they've brought in and the way that they've kind of approached this year. The second tip comes from League One, Leyton Orient versus Chesterfield. I haven't got anything against Chesterfield particularly. They too, like Exeter, have had a few problems financially, so they haven't got a vastly different squad that's come up from League Two. They did win League Two at the end of the day. Let's make no bones about it. They did fantastically well last year, and they're brilliantly consistent, particularly in defence. I think this year they could be a bit more tested, obviously stepping up a division, but I think this is a real litmus test for them against Leyton Orient. They're a team, Leyton Orient, who started last season like a train, went off absolutely brilliantly. Obviously suffered that playoff defeat at the end of last season, kind of heartbreak as well in the circumstances, but they have improved their squad. I think they did lose Moses Odubajo, which is a big blow. He was one of their better players last year. They sold him for £1 million to Brentford. But when you're a club of Orient size, I don't think you can turn down that kind of offer despite being one of your better players. But they've made significant improvements going forward. I like the signing of Darius Henderson from Nottingham Forest. I like Jay Simpson and Joby McAnuff coming in as well. They should kind of have a real value at this level. You add that to the 47 league goals combined last year of Kevin Lisby, Dean Cox, David Mooney as well, that front three, which was so potent throughout the season and kind of kept Leyton Orient on the straight and narrow when they started to wobble a little bit. They've got plenty of firepower. They're at home. This is a chance for them to get off and running on a real good start, and they are 21-20 to score 2 or more. So they're my 2 tips for this weekend as regards to team goals. You got Portsmouth to score twice at 11-8. They're away to Exeter in League Two, and in League One you've got Leyton Orient, who are hosting Chesterfield, a team that haven't really improved too much from last year, versus a team who've got plenty of firepower and who went off like a rocket. Should do well again this year, I think. They've got plenty of claims to be at the top of the league. Leyton Orient are 21-20 to score twice. So they're the 2 tips. Fingers crossed we start with a clean sweep, and I'll be back next week, hopefully with maybe some selections from the Championship as well as the Premier League.